Which snack is Brad Pitt frequently seen eating in his movies? And here's one more. What accessory has Brad Pitt often worn on the red carpet over the years as his signature? Think you know it? Type your guesses below. I'll reveal the answers soon. But first, welcome. I'm Dick Carlson, and this is The Versed, Masters of the Screen. Stay tuned as I peek into the life of a man who redefined what it means to be a leading man, both on and off screen. He's a producer, a philanthropist, and one of the most bankable actors in cinematic history. From driving limos for strippers and dragging refrigerators in LA, to flying private jets and owning a whole vineyard, Brad Pitt's journey is packed with sharp turns, big risks, and even bigger rewards. To understand how he built $1 million empire and became one of the most fascinating figures in global pop culture, we need to go back to the very start, long before the fame touched him. Brad Pitt was born on December 18, 1963 in Shawnee, Oklahoma, but it was in Springfield, Missouri where he really grew up. His father ran a trucking company while his mother worked as a school counselor. He belonged to a solid middle-class roots that grounded him early on. Growing up in a conservative Southern Baptist household, Brad was an athletic and artistic kid who loved movies but didn't see acting as a real possibility. After high school, Brad enrolled at the University of Missouri, majoring in journalism with a focus on advertising. While his coursework was solid, it was never his passion. He often found himself more drawn to film sets and student theater than lecture halls. As graduation neared, he felt a growing restlessness. Just 2 weeks before the ceremony, with only a couple of credits remaining, he made a decision that would change his life. He packed up his old Datsun, tucked away $325 in savings, and hit the highway toward Los Angeles. He didn't have a clear plan or acting experience, not even a place to stay. All he had was just a gut instinct and a belief that something bigger was waiting for him on the West Coast. Once he landed in LA, life wasn't glamorous. To pay the bills, Brad took on every odd job you could imagine. He drove limos for strippers, moved refrigerators, and even wore a giant chicken suit to wave down traffic for El Pollo Loco. But he didn't mind the grind because every day brought him one step closer to a casting call. That call finally came in 1991 when he landed a small role in Thelma and Louise. Though his screen time was brief, it was electric. His portrayal of the charming drifter J.D., especially the shirtless motel scene with Gina Davis, became instantly iconic. Critics took notice and audiences just couldn't get enough. Practically, Brad Pitt became an overnight sensation and cemented his status as a breakout star. From there, things moved fast. In 1994, as his career rose, Pitt purchased a home in Los Feliz, Los Angeles. It was a property he would spend nearly 30 years expanding. It was more than a mansion. It became a peaceful compound featuring a skate park, art studios, and tranquil spaces. He kept it until 2023, curating it as a kind of evolving sanctuary. By the late 1990s, Brad Pitt wasn't just famous, he was iconic. But with all the buzz around his looks, many people still underestimated his range. Anyways, that changed quickly. In 1995, Seven, directed by David Fincher, shocked audiences and critics alike. Pitt played a young detective unraveling a series of gruesome murders based on the 7 deadly sins. It was a dark, intense role, and Pitt nailed it, proving he could deliver powerful performances in emotionally heavy films. Then came Fight Club in 1999, another collaboration with Fincher that would change the course of his career. As the rebellious, magnetic Tyler Durden, Pitt became a symbol of counterculture cool. The film didn't immediately succeed at the box office, but it later became a cult classic, quoted endlessly and dissected in college classrooms. Suddenly, Brad Pitt wasn't just a heartthrob or a leading man. He was part of a deeper cultural conversation. After that, Pitt began balancing offbeat roles with major commercial films. In Snatch, directed by Guy Ritchie, he played a bare-knuckle boxing Irish gypsy with a completely unreadable accent. It was bold, weird, and surprisingly hilarious. And once again, Brad pulled it off effortlessly. As the 2000s began, Brad Pitt had already become one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Films like Ocean's 11 and its sequels didn't just show off his cool factor. They confirmed his place among Hollywood's top-billed stars. And if you've noticed Brad constantly snacking on screen, you're not alone. One of his most famous snack moments is eating an apple, especially memorable in Interview with the Vampire and later in Moneyball. That simple choice has become a quirky, beloved signature in many of his roles. In 2001, he brought charm and unpredictability to The Mexican, a romantic crime comedy. Then came Spy Game and Troy, two very different films that showed his growing maturity and control on screen. But Brad wasn't just chasing leading man roles, he was quietly building something much bigger behind the scenes. In 2000, Brad married Jennifer Aniston, and for a few years, they were the couple everyone watched. A year later, in 2001, Brad and Jennifer founded Plan B Entertainment, a production company that would eventually transform his image from movie star to industry powerhouse. But by 2005, they separated under intense media attention. That same year, while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, his connection with Angelina Jolie became public. It marked the start of one of the most talked-about relationships in modern Hollywood. In 2005, Brad also became the sole owner of Plan B, and that's when the company really took off. Plan B wasn't just a vanity project. It became a mission lead by Brad himself. Under Brad's leadership, the company developed a reputation for backing bold, socially conscious stories that tackled race, class, identity, and justice. While other studios chased guaranteed box office returns, Plan B took risks on deeply human narratives that often became critical darlings. In 2006, they produced The Departed, which won the Oscar for Best Picture. In 2013, 12 Years a Slave did the same. The studio's choices reflected Brad's growing commitment to art that mattered. They told stories that challenged audiences and pushed cinema forward. From 2006 onward, Brad and Angelina began building a family. Over the next several years, they raised 6 children, both biological and adopted, and became global humanitarian figures. From refugee camps to UN missions, they used their platform, Brangelina, for more than red carpets. In 2014, they married at their French estate and vineyard, Chateau Miraval. But by 2016, it all unraveled. Their divorce was public, painful, and drawn out. Custody battles followed, as did legal disputes over ownership of Miraval. Through it all, Brad stayed largely quiet, focusing instead on self-reflection and personal growth. The same year, Moonlight became the third Plan B production to win Best Picture, solidifying Brad's reputation as one of the smartest producers in Hollywood. Despite the turmoil in his personal life, Brad kept working with focus. He was starred in World War Z, showing blockbuster strength, and in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where his role as Cliff Booth, a laid-back stuntman with mystery and charm. In 2020, his role as Cliff Booth earned him his second Oscar, but this time for Best Supporting Actor. While his career kept evolving, so did his passion for architecture and design. He spent most of his time at his Santa Barbara oceanfront ranch, surrounded by horses and cliffs. And Chateau Miraval became more than just real estate. It became a passion project for him. Later, Brad dove into wine production and design. One of Brad's most personal and proudest undertakings was the restoration of Miraval Studios, nestled within the sprawling vineyard estate he once shared with Angelina Jolie. Once a legendary music space that had hosted Pink Floyd, Sting, and the Cranberries, the studio had fallen silent and into disrepair. Brad, always drawn to design and legacy, spearheaded its revival with the help of renowned French producer Damien Quintard. Together, they transformed the space into a state-of-the-art recording facility, blending cutting-edge acoustics with the vintage soul of its past. For Pitt, it wasn't just about preserving history. It was about giving artists a place to create freely in one of the most serene and inspiring environments imaginable. He also added a Malibu mid-century house, a villa in Mallorca, and a historic home in Carmel Highlands to his real estate portfolio. In 2023, after selling his longtime LA compound, he bought the striking $5.5 million steel house in Los Feliz. It is a bold architectural statement reflecting his modern aesthetic, because homes aren't just assets to Brad, they are deeply personal. Brad has become a true enthusiast of architecture and design, collaborating with architects, collecting rare furniture, and even taking up ceramics and sculpting during the pandemic. These private creative pursuits give him a sense of peace far from the spotlight. Off-screen, Pitt's understated cool is often defined by his go-to aviator sunglasses. These shades have been a constant on red carpets and photo ops, becoming part of his signature look. In recent years, he found a more grounded kind of companionship. As of 2023, he's been in a relationship with Inez de Ramon, a jewelry executive. Their romance has stayed mostly out of the public eye and, by all accounts, deeply serious. Financially, Brad's position is just as impressive. His estimated net worth is around $400 million. His per-film salary ranges from $10 million to $35 million, with upcoming releases like Wolves and the Formula One movie expected to bring in top dollar. But beyond acting, Plan B has made him a fortune through smart, award-winning projects. His wine brand, Miraval Rose, is globally recognized. And with brand deals, including luxury partnerships with Chanel and Brioni, along with appreciating real estate, Brad Pitt enjoys multiple steady income streams. In the past few years, Brad Pitt has undergone a quiet transformation. Following his divorce and the public custody battle, he made the choice to step away from the chaos and focus inward. He's openly spoken about getting sober, attending recovery meetings, and working through years of emotional pain, confronting old patterns and learning how to heal. Today, he prioritizes privacy, personal growth, and craftsmanship. Whether he's throwing himself into a ceramic project, restoring historic architecture, or collaborating on a film he deeply believes in, Brad's choices reflect that he's more after meaning than attention. And yet, even with this slower, more intentional lifestyle, he remains one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. His films have grossed over $9 billion worldwide. He's respected not only for his acting and producing talents, but also for his dedication to philanthropy, environmental causes, and a consistently evolving sense of personal style. As he enters this latest phase of his life, Brad Pitt isn't just looking back at a legendary career. He's actively reshaping what legacy means. He's living proof that reinvention isn't reserved for the beginning of a journey. It's an ongoing process. Whether he's mentoring emerging filmmakers, experimenting in a ceramic studio, or quietly financing stories that demand to be told, Brad's presence in Hollywood has matured into something rare. It has become a blend of star power, quiet introspection, and fearless curiosity. He no longer needs to prove anything, yet he continues to take risks, not for the spotlight, but for the art. And that perhaps is what makes Brad Pitt one of the most compelling figures of his generation. He's an icon in constant evolution. Brad Pitt's story is one of ambition, reinvention, and quiet resilience. It's a proof that fame doesn't have to come at the cost of depth. What part of his journey surprised you most? Or is there a side to Brad you still can't quite figure out? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're curious about the next legend who's reshaped the industry, stick around. Their story's coming up next.